Welcome to Fast Track Your Yachting Career. My name's Roger Overall and I work with Yachting Financial Solutions, and with me is Teresa Evans, who is a Director of Yachting Financial Solutions and also a founding partner of the YIFSOL Partnership. Teresa, hello.
Hello, Roger. Good to be here.
So today we're going to be talking about pensions and retirement for super yacht captains. But it's a bit odd, isn't it, that people of 45, 50, 55 will be talking in those terms, really?
I don't necessarily entirely agree that it's odd, Roger. I think that people are using the terms that they've picked up from reading various articles and possibly talking to other people within the industry, that kind of thing. But I totally agree that it kind of, the whole thing about retirement suggests that you're now pretty elderly and incapacitated, and your idea of a great day might be sitting in the sunshine watching your roses growing. And I think, and certainly I can't think of any yacht captain I know where that would be their ambition after yachting.
No.
The majority of people would be leaving yachting whilst they're still in the prime of life. And so what they'd actually be doing would be moving on to the next stage of their life. And what they really actually need is to be financially independent at that point, so that they can be in the driving seat of their lives and be living their life on their own terms.
We're almost contrasting it with the final decade of somebody's life, and we're not at that point when you leave yachting. You have several decades to go. What are you going to do with that time?
This is an active time, and it's actually a fantastic opportunity to actually live the life that you really want to lead. And that is what we at Yachting Financial Solutions and the Yachting Partnership, that's what we're all about, is to make sure that as many people, by the time they exit yachting, have got themselves in a position where they are sufficiently financially independent to live their ideal life.
And that's an interesting distinction that you make between, Yachting Financial Solutions. You say especially what we focus on with the YIFSOL Partnership. Can you just contrast the two for the listener so that they have an understanding of how the two relate to each other?
Yachting Financial Solutions would be the kind of the administrative arm, if you like, of the company, whereas the Yachting Partnership is the mentoring side of the company. The reason for this is what we're talking about is people building up an exit plan. We're talking long-term financial planning here. And we all know that that's very difficult to keep on track on your own. And so that's why we have the YIFSOL Partnership. And what we do there is we regularly mentor and review all our clients' financial plans to make sure that they're on track, and we keep encouraging them to stick with it, because so often people start their plan with great intentions, get distracted, and unfortunately fall to the wayside. We don't want that to happen.
We've just discussed what we don't think lies ahead of you in the decades immediately after your departure from yachting. But what does lie ahead of you? What is it that you want to be working towards? So if you could stop in yachting today, if you didn't need to work in yachting today for the money, what is it you do?
What would you be doing?
Yeah, what would you be doing?
Exactly.
And there'd be very few people say, well, I'll be a super yacht captain. I think most of them might say, I enjoy what I do, but actually I'd enjoy doing this far more.
I also think that if you've been a super yacht captain for a considerable period of time already, you are at the peak of the business. You've been there, you've done it. It's not perhaps so much that you don't want to be a super yacht captain, but you probably feel at this point that you want to move on and do something else.
And I suppose then the next thing is, if you're going to make a plan, you need to figure out what that financial freedom, what does that look like in terms of a dollar value? What do you need to be pulling in annually from your financial plan, from the wealth you've built up, to cover the lifestyle you want?
I would agree. I think you need to set some goals to start with, and then put some kind of financial measures on them, so that you do have a clear idea of how much this is going to cost. Now, obviously, those initial goals are not set in stone. And everybody's life evolves over a 10 or 15-year period. That's absolutely normal. And your plan will evolve as well. But the key point is that it's far better, to use a yachting analogy, to leave port and set off on your voyage
yes.
than not to set off at all. You can always adjust it. You can always adjust your destinations along the way. But if you don't set off, it's not going to happen.
And that's where the mentoring comes in, because it is very tempting to give up. And I suppose that's where the partnership comes in, doesn't it? To guide people through and to keep them on track.
Absolutely. And if you look at, let's say, most very successful sports people, for example, they are obviously super talented, but they all have coaches and they all have trainers to make sure that they are the best they can possibly be. And that's exactly our attitude at the Yourself Partnership as well, is to make sure that you get the best possible result from your exit plan as you possibly can.
And that's an interesting thing as well, because there's a lot of talk about, okay, well, I could do this myself. I can invest myself. I can, and of course you can. You can go out and you can say, I'm going to do nothing more than invest in, say, a tracker for stock markets. But actually, there's a bit more to proper investing than just that, isn't it? Than just putting it in that one fund that tracks the stock market. So let's just talk around proper investing. What does proper investing look like?
There's various things that are extremely important. First of all, you need to be thinking long term. So therefore, what you need to be looking at when you're investing is this something? Is this a sector or a company or a country, depending on what kind of investment it is, that is likely to make me money over time? And Warren Buffett, for example, says that he would never buy a stock which he wasn't prepared to hold for at least 10 years. Secondly, you need to diversify. Very simply, you don't want to have all your eggs in one basket. And the more you diversify, the better. And this is why within Yachting Financial Solutions, we invest mainly in funds, which are groups of stocks and not just in stocks. So that means that within a particular fund, there could be 20 or 40 different stocks. And the manager of those funds will be buying and selling all the time. But so that you have, therefore, if you've, say, got 6 funds, you've actually got around 240 different stocks. You're very well diversified. That's also very important. Another thing to bear in mind is buying into the market on a regular basis. It's not timing the market, which is pretty much impossible to do. But what you can do is time in the market. So, i.e., that you keep investing over as long a period of time as you possibly can. By doing that, you will buy into market lows when the units within the funds are on sale, and you'll be buying more. You will then benefit as stock markets rise again. You will see the value of your investments rising exponentially.
Anyway, basically what we're saying is, does any of this sound like a pension, a pension scheme? This is more active because you're working towards that specific goal, that specific financial goal that's going to allow you to live that meaningful life. It's not just signing up for a pension and just sticking some money in a pension every month. This is a far more active process. When you talk about pensions and retirement, that's almost a passive thing. And here we're talking about an active, proactive process where you're working towards an end goal and you're working towards a lifestyle and, I suppose more importantly, a life goal. And that's a very different way of looking at life and your life after yachting than talking about retiring.
Yeah, and if anybody would like to have a chat to me or indeed to Clive about this and how they can build up their independent income for their future and create their dream life, we're very happy to do so. And you can get in touch with us through the website.
And the website is yfsol.com. So that's yfsol.com. We hope you will join us again for the next episode of Fast Track Your Yachting Career. And until then, stay safe and safe sailing.
Goodbye, everybody.